him.com.co.uk or call +44 7425 883791. Texum. Insights that inspire. Actions that change the world.
You want to send your body money, but you don't get time for internet story. You no need to dey waka with plenty money. Careful, make you dial the number 894. Make you know they wait. 894. No need to dey start for line. 894. It is safe and secure. 894 for me. 894 for you. 894 for there's a number that could change your whole world. 894. It no matter if you don't get data. 894. Just pick your phone and dial the number. 894 for me. 894 for you. 894 for Nigeria.
Dial *894# to get started. Powered by First Bank. From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the News at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Anne Nwawodo.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, no ransom payment for kidnapping. That's the position of the federal government as President Bola Tinubu directs security agencies to rescue abducted persons in Kaduna, Sokoto, and Borno State. Medecins Sans Frontières, MSF, or Doctors Without Borders, raises alarm over the devastating humanitarian crisis in Northwest, says 854 children have died in its facilities in the area. Barely 24 hours after the suspension of the chairman of the Northern Senators Forum, Senator Abdul Ningi, Southern senators revive their own forum, elect Senator Abiru as chairman. And as Nigerians groan over the economy hardship, House of Representatives summons cement manufacturers over outrageous prices of building materials.
On Business News tonight, OPEC's latest report shows Nigeria's crude oil production fell to 1.32
We begin with the federal government's reaffirmation of its stance that it will no longer pay any dime for the rescue of all those kidnapped in Kaduna, Sokoto, Borno, and other states. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mr. Mohammed Idris, said this today after the Federal Executive Council meeting at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Mr. Idris maintained that the President also reiterated his directive to the military to ensure the victims are rescued and brought back safely to their homes. Our State House correspondent Larry Lasisi has this report and other resolutions reached during the council meeting.
It's the third federal executive meeting of the year, and it starts with the swearing in of the new commissioners of the National Population Commission. President Bola Tinubu is presiding over the ceremony as the commissioners step forward in batches for the exercise.
Do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear
After the ceremony, the council meeting moves into a closed-door session. A recent spate of abductions in the northern part of the country features during the meeting.
We are seeing some kind of movement by the more the security agencies are also hitting these targets, the targets of criminals, the more they are pushed to also getting some soft targets. But government is not taking any excuses. The president has directed that security agencies must, as a matter of urgency, ensure that these children and all those who have been kidnapped are brought back in safety, and government is not paying anybody any dime, and the government is optimistic that these children and other people that are abducted will be brought back to their families in safety.
The Minister of Agriculture gave an update on the federal government's distribution of grains across the country.
We're distributing to state capitals in the first instance now. As you all are aware, the risks involved in vandalization of foodstuff in transit. So we're working assiduously with the Office of the National Security Advisor and the DSS and the police. And as I can assure you, we have started distributing, especially in the northwest, with northwestern states. We're distributing out of 7 points.
Council also approved the setting up of a $2 billion fund for a 120-kilometer fiber optic cable across the country.
The president is giving the go-ahead for us to source funds for that. So we are in the process of setting up a $2 billion fund. I said it costs less than $1 billion. But the reason why we're setting up the $2 billion fund is to use the balance to drive down the cost of connectivity in the country. We want to ensure that all schools are connected, all hospitals in the country that they are connected, and also all government facilities as well.
The Minister of Works also addressed concerns that his push for companies to build concrete roads could be responsible for the rising cost of cement.
The policy has not even taken off, very well, because you should ask yourself how many roads today are being done on concrete. But the truth remains that with the cost of bitumen now, contractors are begging that their projects should be reviewed on concrete.
State House correspondents were also informed that the president is not stopping or suspending the student loan scheme, but that the scheme is being revamped and a new date will be announced for its launch. From the presidential villa, Lanre Lasese, Channels Television News.
7 dead bodies of passengers, including women, a baby and a man, have been recovered in a forest located in Taraba State. The recovery followed an attack on an 18-seater bus that loaded passengers from Zaki Biam in Benue State to Maihula in Bali local government area of Taraba State. Gunmen suspected to be bandits attacked the bus in Gamkwe village, located along the Maraban-Basa axis on Dunga local government area of the state, while en route Maihula in Bali local government area. The driver of that bus, Jimen Angero, escaped the attack with machete cuts. He revealed the armed men were in large number with guns, machetes, and other light arms. Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police, Taraba State Command, David, has also confirmed that his men found 7 bodies in the bush within the area while on patrol to douse the tension between Ichen and Tiv tribes who were mutually suspicious of each other on that incident. Meanwhile, not less than 40 kidnapped victims have been rescued from kidnappers in Gumkomaliki Mountain, located in Yoro local government area of Taraba State. The rescue is equal to a joint effort between the police, professional hunters, and vigilante groups.
For about 3 months, residents of Yoro, Zing, Ardo Kola, and Lao local government areas of Taraba State have been living in fear of the possibility of being the next victim of kidnappers or bandits in their areas. The actions of the bandits have resulted in the deployment of new tactics to flush out these criminals from their hideouts.
It is the result of this that has led to the rescue of victims that you are seeing up there, kidnapped victims that have spent various times or weeks in captivity.
The victims rescued here are residents of Zing and Yoro local government areas. They have spent between 1 and 3 months in captivity. One of them even lost an eye to the kidnappers. Some of the residents of the area who came to welcome the rescued say the kidnappers have warned them not to farm during this year's rainy season. Amongst them is Ibrahim Mago. who claims that at least 71 persons have been kidnapped from Yoro community and 7 persons killed during the recent gun duel.
The kidnappers are taking many people from our community, police security agency, to still put effort in order to rescue our people there.
The state government says it is aware of the efforts made and is assuring the security agencies in the state of more support to ensure the return of absolute peace in all local government areas.
Count on us, we will give you all our support to ensure that you deliver your responsibility very well.
The Taraba state government says it will not rest on its oars until the state is free of criminals that inhibit development.
Meanwhile, the army says the troops of Operation Hadarin Daji have neutralized bandits and rescued 10 kidnapped victims around Safe town in Safe local government area of Zamfara state. A statement released by the information officer of Operation Hadarin Daji, Lieutenant Sulaiman Omale, explains that the troops were responding to a distress call yesterday night, March the 12th, 2024, and engaged the bandits in a fierce gun battle, ultimately forcing them to flee with gunshot wounds. According to that statement, the troops' actions led to the rescue of 10 kidnapped individuals who have been safely reunited with their families. Still talking security, the Sokoto State Police Command says the terrorists who abducted 15 Almajiri children and a woman at Gidan Bukuso village have contacted the teacher of Sangaya school where the children were abducted. A source in the community had earlier informed our correspondent the terrorists demanded 20 million naira ransom for the release of the kidnapped victims. However, the Sokoto State Police Public Relations Officer says the terrorists only made contact and demanded ransom, but no specific amount was mentioned. The 16 persons were kidnapped in the early hours of Saturday when terrorists raided Gidan Bakuso village in Gada local government area of the state. Médecins Sans Frontières, MSF, known as Doctors Without Borders, have raised alarm over what it describes as a dire humanitarian situation unfolding in Nigeria's northwest geopolitical zone. The organization, in a statement, highlights the devastating impact of armed conflict in communities, resulting in the catastrophic levels of malnutrition and escalating crises. According to MSF's head of mission, Ahmed Bilal, over 854 children have lost their lives in its facilities across Zamfara, Sokoto, and Katsina state due to malnutrition exacerbated by armed conflict, which also severely limits access to healthcare services, as he now stresses the urgent need for coordinated response. In his words, the lack of recognition of the crisis is having a severe impact in the health and humanitarian needs of the population and delaying the response which is desperately needed. The MSF's report underscores the urgent need for international attention and the support to address the worsening humanitarian crisis in Nigeria's northwest region, where countless lives hang in the balance amid escalating violence and widespread suffering. Staying with security matters, the Minister of the FCT, Mr. Nyesom Wike, believes that security in the nation's capital has improved following the arrest of 2 notorious kidnappers. Mr. Wike said this after addressing senators in plenary over the security situation in Abuja, where he promised improved security and more infrastructure for residents of the Federal Capital Territory. Meanwhile, the Southern Senators Forum have been inaugurated with Senator Adetokunbo Abiru representing Lagos East as chairman and Senator Victor Ume representing Anambra Central as vice chairman. Our National Assembly correspondent Gloria Mezoke reports.
Barely 24 hours after a dramatic plenary culminating in the suspension of the chairman of the Northern Senators Forum, Senator Abdul Ningi, plenary resumes for the second legislative sitting for the week. The Minister of the FCT, Mr. Nyesom Wike, as well as the Police Commissioner, arrives at the Senate's chamber to honor a summon to brief on the security situation in the nation's capital. The session holds behind closed doors. Less than 3 hours after, the FCT minister and the police chief state some of the issues discussed and plans to improve security in the nation's capital.
Security has quite improved in FCT. Most of the kidnappings to you here sometimes are segmented by people. There are some internal arrangements. Mind you, 2 most wanted notorious kidnappers we have gotten them. And that's why you see the level of kidnapping has reduced.
Since 1 month and there's no kidnapping in FCT, we have used a lot of intelligence. We have decided to dominate the forests because FCT is bounded by 4 states that are crime-prone.
Meanwhile, Southern senators have met to revive their forum, electing Senator Adetokunbo Abiru, representing Lagos East, as chairman. The inauguration of Senator Abiru, who replaces the Senate leader, Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele, as well as the vice chairman, Senator Victor Ume, representing Anambra, comes 9 months after the commencement of the 10th Senate.
The expectation and the responsibility that has been bestowed on us is to champion the cause of Nigeria and Nigerians first and foremost. And of course, again, because we also live in an environment where we also have our northern brothers as well. So what we are meant to do is to also work closely with them in championing the cause of Nigeria.
The coincidence of reviving the Southern Senators Forum 24 hours after the suspension of the chairman of the Northern Senators Forum was palpable.
It has always existed. What we just have now is a change of leadership because our former leader presently is the leader of the Senate. And of course, we now have a new leadership and we also will follow in the line of direction that he had given us. So it's a continuity.
The 51 senators from 17 southern states also elected 6 executives under Abiru's chairmanship. From the National Assembly, Gloria Umezuki, Channels Television News.
In part 2, after the break, House of Representatives summons cement manufacturers of outrageous price of building materials in the country. Please join us again.
Hello, my bro. Man, the rain is so heavy here. And there's so much traffic. I think we should postpone, huh?
Not a chance. Aisha.
We don't quit, guys. I'll be there.
Done.
2 files received.
I'm on my way. Take first right in 50 meters and you're there.
Copy that. Aisha, where are you?
Guess where?
2 minutes. 2 minutes. Move. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Runway X.
The future of fashion showcasing.
Very impressive. How did you pull that off?
With Nigeria's top tech talents.
And glow.
Power your relentless ambition with ultra-high-speed data. With pride.
As an online entrepreneur, I am an advocate for tax morale, and I urge my fellow entrepreneurs to fulfill their civic duty by filing their returns.
I handle my business with integrity, and my customers trust me. And it is my civic duty to file my returns and pay my tax because I trust the government.
It is my civic responsibility to file my income returns, pay my tax on time to avoid penalties.
You have until 31st March 2024 to fulfill this important civic obligation. Failure to file your individual annual returns attracts stiff penalties on defaulters. For inquiries, visit www.lirs.gov.ng. This message is from the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service, LIRS.
The Duchess International Hospital caters to every aspect of a family's health needs. A one-stop shop for maternity and child health services, emergency medicine and critical care, medical and surgical subspecialties, dental and eye care, and a range of other subspecialties and services all available at a single location right here in the heart of Ikeja. And it really doesn't matter if you're paying out of pocket using your HMO or private insurance. We focus completely on providing that world-class affordable healthcare for all the family at all times.
Now, all of us like to chop better food. Food where they make body tranga and vegetables wey fresh like say tomorrow not day. We want make the chocolate sweet the way we go like am. No cubes. Now it be the secret. Dem make am with correct ingredients like chicken, parsley, garlic, plenty iron corn full and palm to make your chocolate palm bar for you. Come the sweet well. Now it be the cocoa. Make we carry salute, throw away give no. Change your world by changing waiting to your plate.
The news at 10 coming to you live on Channels Television from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. No ransom payment for kidnapping. That's the position of the federal government as President Bola Tinubu directs security agencies to rescue abducted persons in Kaduna, Sokoto and Borno states. Medicine Sans Frontier, MSF, or Doctors Without Borders raises alarm over the devastating humanitarian crisis in Northwest, says 854 children have died in its facilities in the area. Barely 24 hours after the suspension of the chairman of the Northern Senators Forum, Senator Abdul Ningi, Southern Senators revived their forum, elect Senator Abiru as chairman. And the United Nations says a new land route has been used to deliver food to northern Gaza. Governor Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State has expressed his support for Senator Abdul Ningi in the wake of the suspension by the upper chamber. Governor Mohammed commends Senator Ningi for, according to him, being the voice of opposition and for his courageous pursuit of truth. He, however, calls for proper investigation on the matter surrounding Senator Ningi's suspension.
We will continue as the opposition to tell the federal government some of the things that will be done in our modest opinion. But it's not for us to disparage our country. Yesterday it was a double-edged sword. I was very sad. The Senate suspended one of our best from Bauchi for saying the truth, for standing up to be the beacon of truth. Senator Abdul Ningi. Equally, I don't know what we will do, but we will discuss privately to see what we can do to support him, because I support him for whatever he's doing. That is the face of the opposition, especially if what he's saying is the truth. We'll make investigation to find out. I am not too quick to go to media, but certainly he has shown courage. He has shown that he is from Bauchi, and we have to be with him.
The House of Representatives has mandated the committees on solid mineral development, commerce, industries, and special duties to investigate the increase in the price of cement by manufacturers in the country. And this follows a motion by Honorable Jonathan Gaza. The House also resolved that the committees should summon cement manufacturers in the country for capitalizing on exchange rate volatility to increase the price of the product. In the meantime, the House is calling for the resumption of the social investment program after it was suspended by the President due to scandals revealed concerning that management. Our National Assembly correspondent Terry Ikumi reports.
It's been 2 months since the suspension of the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation on allegations of mismanagement and the suspension of the social investment program by the President. This is a concern for lawmakers in the Green Chamber.
The House is worried that an alleged recommendation suggesting that a new steering committee board under the leadership of the Minister of Finance should henceforth oversee the social investment programs is not only an anomaly but contravenes the Esther law, which situates the implementing agency and programs under the purview of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. In the meantime, direct a serving Minister of State to oversee relevant approvals and implementation of the National Social Investment Program so as to minimize the adverse implication of increasing hunger and sufferings experienced by vulnerable Nigerians relying on the program.
Meanwhile, a motion on the cost of cement is raised as it affects the cost of rent and living in the country.
The House is concerned that the manufacturers of cement have capitalized on exchange volatility to arbitrarily increase the price of the product, whose cost of production has not changed significantly since last year.
The matter is debated as lawmakers lament the monopoly of the cement market.
It is very, very important that this House take a further step by inviting the minister in charge of this commodity, because and the major manufacturers, the two biggest manufacturers, are holding Nigerians to ransom. They bought government companies from Sokoto Cement to Benue Cement, all government properties, cheaply sold to them. They are now holding Nigerians to ransom. There is no monopoly in cement industry, in the cement pricing or cement manufacturing in this country. This market was liberalized. These companies were sold to the highest bidder. We must understand the cost of gas. None of them is on power. None of them is on power. They produce their power through the gas, and the gas, they bought it according to the international price. Excuse me. Order, please. Order.
The House resolves to invite the manufacturers of cement for a briefing during its sectoral debate. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
In the meantime, the president has ordered the reopening of Nigeria's land and air borders with Niger Republic in compliance with a directive by the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. The special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Ajurin Gilali, made this known in a statement today. According to him, other sanctions imposed on Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso and Guinea following the military takeover of government in those countries have also been lifted with immediate effect. ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government had announced the lifting of sanctions at its extraordinary summit on February the 24th, 2024 in Abuja. Africa's share of global trade has remained stagnant at approximately 3% or less, but there are opportunities for improvement. And that's the insight is coming from the Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, in an exclusive interview with Channels Television. Mr. Okonjo-Iweala also highlighted Nigeria's potential to enhance the quality of its agricultural exports, especially cowpea and sesame, with coal generate billions of dollars, significantly boosting the country's revenue.
Africa's share of world trade has stagnated at about 3% or less for many years, but there are opportunities to improve that, including in Nigeria. Let me start with Nigeria. Nigeria does have many opportunities to diversify its economy and its revenue source. And we were here from the WTO because there's an opportunity to help the country increase its exports of agricultural products. And the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment asked for help. How can we improve the quality of agricultural products like cowpeas and sesame seeds, where we stand to gain not millions, but billions of dollars if we can meet the quality and certification standards being demanded by those who import from us. So the WTO has the ability, with small amounts of money, we are not a financing agency, but we have small amounts, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, and they can leverage billions, because with that we build the capacity of extension workers, of farmers, of agribusiness people. What amount of pesticides do you use? How do you make sure that you meet sanitary and phytosanitary standards so that the people you're selling to, they have certain standards, you meet them? We are able to do that training, and then you see that people are able to sell more and farmers can triple their income. We worked with shea butter producers in Oyo State, and the women were so excited when I met them 2 years ago, telling me how they tripled their income from being able to sell to the EU, to South Africa, to US, where they were not able to. Some of them are still struggling. We are still trying to work with them. The same now with sesame seed and cowpeas. So that's one. I'm just giving you one example.
Let's head over to Abuja studios now, where Victoria Longjohn is standing by to give us more on the news at 10. Hello, Victoria.
Hello, Anne. We continue here with food security, as the Central Bank of Nigeria has allocated 2.1 million bags of fertilizer and 100 billion naira to the Ministry of Agriculture as part of measures to cushion the effects of high prices of food in the country. The CBN Governor, Mr. Olayemi Cardoso, made this known during a visit to the Ministry of Agriculture's office alongside the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning at the ministry's headquarters in Abuja.
The rising costs of food is impacting the nation, and the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security is seeking out avenues to ameliorate the situation. This meeting with the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, his management team, and the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning has that as the main objective.
This is a significant emphasis on maintaining price stability as one of its primary mandates.
The CBN Governor believes that providing support to farmers will help mitigate high food prices.
In pursuit of these goals, we are delighted to announce the allocation of 2.15 million bags of fertilizer, valued at over 100 billion naira, which we are humbly handing over to the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. This contribution from the Central Bank is aimed at amplifying food production capabilities and fostering price stabilization within the agricultural sector.
The Governor also calls for active partnerships to ensure price stability of food.
We aim to enhance our partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture, thereby bolstering your endeavors to enhance food productivity and security.
In the 2024 budget, agriculture received close to 1 trillion naira, which is a significant increase in budgetary allocation.
The Minister of Agriculture agrees with the Apex Bank boss. They outline ways to reach out to the farmers.
The portfolio farmers, the fake farmers, we really want to be sure that those who own land and are ready to go to farm are the ones that should be taking the benefit.
We'll deliver it to the last mile, to the intended persons, to the intended farmers, where they can reap the benefits of this huge gesture.
The federal government is optimistic that with these interventions, food prices will be stabilized in the country within months.
Now, still ahead on the news at 10, OPEC's latest report shows Nigeria's crude oil production fell to 1.32 million barrels per day in February. That's on Business News. Join us again.
In a world where everything is fast-paced, how do you remain unstoppable?
Babe, I need some money for groceries.
Dad, the cable TV subscription has expired.
What if I told you the key to being unstoppable is now at your fingertips?
Uncle, wait. Uncle, have you forgotten I'm going back to school today? Thank you.
I beg no forget plumber money.
Oga, we need to buy fuel. Don't let petty transactions limit you. Download the First Money Wallet app or dial *894*1# on any mobile phone and live unstoppable.
Enjoy the unlimited life with First Money Wallet. Dial *894*1# on any mobile phone to activate now. You first. First Bank.
It's the greatest for me. Onga makes sure cooking fun. I'm fearless. We go fill your belly. Enjoy the taste and aroma daily. Onga.
chicken cube for great chicken taste and aroma.
Black, it's not dark, it's bright. Black is bold. Black is every color all together. My thing, your thing, our thing mixed together. Black shines brighter.
Do you know that you can now print all your essential items for events without even having to leave your home? It's the Cash Print Combo Deal for all events. Yes! Weddings, conferences, birthdays, burials, etc. Starting from 495,000 Naira only. You get 50 invites, 50 A2 size posters, 50 16-page brochures, 1 large backdrop banner, 1 roll-up banner, 50 jotters with pens, and 50 souvenir carrier bags. Whatever event you're planning, we can adjust to your budget and quantities. Just send your pictures and other information through WhatsApp, and we shall send a design for your approval. Approve your design, and we will produce with super high-quality digital print technology. We can even arrange delivery to your location. Call us now on 0913-156-5016 or 0812-794-9323 or visit our social media pages. Cash Prints, digital printing at super speed.
Welcome back to the news at 10. In its bid to boost livestock development across its major cattle markets, the Yobe state government has signed a 5-year memorandum of understanding worth $2 billion with the consortium to boost livestock development across its major cattle markets. The state governor, May Malabuni, who was represented at the event by the secretary to the state government, Baba Malamwali, explained that cattle rearing has been part of its citizens' culture. The chairman of the implementation committee, Abdullahi Gashua, also spoke on the significance of the MOU.
Trans-Sahara Consortium will provide the fund to which we are going to assist our cattle marketers. That's on one side. And on the other side, the state will now identify reputable and reliable cattle marketers who will be funded to provide these cattle. So at the initial stage, we are targeting to produce to the market, to supply to the market about 100,000 cattle monthly.
Yobe State, like many other regions in Nigeria and across Africa, has a rich tradition of cattle rearing and trading, which has been a central part of our cultural and economic heritage for generations. However, we recognize the need to modernize and transform this critical sector in order to meet the evolving demands of food security, sustainability, and economic growth. The signing of this agreement with the Trans-Sahara Consortium signals our commitment to harnessing innovation, technology, and strategic partnership to drive positive change in our cattle industry. Through this collaboration, we aim to implement a comprehensive approach that would not only enhance indigenous cattle trading, but also facilitate the production of exotic cattle for diverse market needs.
In Anambra State, the people of Onitsha seem to have cause to celebrate as they trooped out today to witness the commissioning of the Port Harcourt Niger Street Road project at the bridgehead axis of the commercial city. The occasion provided an opportunity for Governor Chukwuma Soludo to make known other plans his administration has for the people of Onitsha. He said aside the road projects, Onitsha people will also have pipe-borne water, while Onitsha South local government in particular will host a general hospital.
Niger Street in Onitsha South local government area of Anambra State is a link road from Bridgehead Onitsha axis to Main Market Onitsha. The 5.1-kilometer road project embarked upon by the administration of Professor Chukwuma Soludo last year is now delivered to the people.
There is nothing else that I can say is that we've just started and we will definitely achieve and break all the records that is available.
For Governor Soludo, the completion of Niger Street will boost economic activities in the area and attract more investors in the state.
This particular road, the Niger Street,
is a very critical one, because that's the road through which all the containers that arrive and are heading to the main market of Onitsha. We're doing over 400 kilometers in the 21 local governments in Anambra. By Saturday, we're on course to be able to have asphalted about 247 kilometers. That's an average of about 10 kilometers a month in 24 months. And the quality that Anambra State has not seen before. Subcement stabilization, stone base before the thick asphalting. And much of these roads guaranteed to last for at least 20 years.
The Port Harcourt Road infrastructure deficit has also been taken care of by the state government, a message to street boys to stay clear or face the music.
For the Arboros, there is no room for you in Onitsha. There is no room for you in Anambra. Leave us alone. This place is not for Arboro. Okay? For those doing their legitimate business, we must let the millions of people doing their legitimate business, we'll give them peace and security to do their job. I heard that some people go to some markets and they are collecting 200 naira, 100 naira, this and that. My government has said they should no longer do it.
And the market men and women trading along the axis have been privileged to commission the road. As Governor Soludo counts down to his second year in office in the next few days, he promises to deliver more infrastructural projects that will be beneficial to the people of Anambra State.
In other stories, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, is pledging greater support for members of the Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association, DEPOA, in their bid to empower Nigerians through skills acquisition programs. Speaking in Abuja at the 13th graduation ceremony of the DEPOA Skills Acquisition Center, General Musa says empowering Nigerians to be self-reliant is one of the non-kinetic approach the military is employing in the fight against insurgency. General Musa, who identified hunger and poverty as some of the forces fueling insurgency, asked that the military will continue to support all efforts aimed at empowering Nigerians to be gainfully employed.
It is the 13th graduation ceremony of the Defense Police Officers' Wives Association Skill Acquisition Center, as past DEPOA presidents, top military officers, family members and friends of the graduates converge for the ceremony. The president of the Defense Police Officers' Wives Association kickstarts the event with a promise to empower more Nigerians through the DEPOA Skills Acquisition Center.
For us in DEPOA, it is indeed an honor and privilege to have the opportunity to undertake this noble task of nurturing young men and women to become productive members of the society. I am therefore proud to present to you yet another set of beneficiaries of DEPOA goodwill to humanity.
CG Musa, Officer of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The Chief of Defense Staff pledges to support the activities of DEPOA while urging the graduates to improve their lives with the skills acquired.
For us, especially in the military, this is part of the non-kinetic efforts. It's not only to use arms. Prevention is better than cure. We're sure if you are properly trained and people are willfully engaged, they will make a difference wherever they are. Hunger, poverty brings out insecurity. But these little things we do, this little training that is going on will make a difference.
The graduation ceremony combines batches 14, 15, and 16 of the 2023 exercise. 102 persons received trainings in various vocations, such as fashion design, catering, hair making, barbing, ICT, among others. One after the other, the beneficiaries received their certificates and starter packs.
On behalf of the beneficiaries of this program, we are saying thank you very much, ma'am. May God bless you. May your efforts towards us never be in vain. We promise to hold on to what we have been taught here and to work towards it and to empower more people.
The beneficiaries also displayed the products of their training to the admiration of the Chief of Defense Staff.
And that's it from Abuja. It's now back to you, Anne, for the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you, Victoria. The Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board has reaffirmed the commitment to support the growth of more indigenous companies in the oil and gas sector. Well, it says the growth of these companies will boost the employment of more Nigerians to the sector. The executive secretary of the NCDMB says the Nigerian content house in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State, when the management team of UTM Floating Liquefied Natural Gas and Coleman Wires and Cables visited the executive secretary and management staff of the NCDMB.
Building sustainable relationships has been identified as a way for nations and organizations to thrive in whatever area they operate. In line with that philosophy, the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, NCDMB, is partnering with some organizations to enhance service delivery in the oil and gas sector. To solidify this collaboration with NCDMB, executive members of UTM Floating Liquefied Natural Gas and Coleman Wire and Cables are here on a courtesy visit to the management of the NCDMB.
This is Nigerian first floating LNG. You know, the Nigerian LNG in Bonny is the land one. This one is a floating one that meets the gas that are stranded offshore. The essence is that Nigeria have a lot of gas that are stranded offshore. The only way to monetize those gas is a technology that has been proven, which is a floating LNG technology. And that's why the Nigerian government is fully supporting this project. Like you see, the executive secretary just mentioned that anything that is required to bring this project to full operation, the NCDMB will give it all the support that is required.
The managing director of Coleman Wires and Cables highlights how the support of the NCDMB has helped fast-track their success.
I'm proud to say that we've been able to start the production of fiber optic production also in country today. And this first was also for the oil and gas, but one key thing for us is that the NOTICAT and the NCDMB has been a catalyst to a lot of growth, but not for only the oil and gas. It all starts with the oil and gas, but I'll say Nigeria has benefited a lot from the effort done by both the NOTIC Act and, most importantly, the NCDMB's focus on local content.
On his part, the executive secretary of NCDMB, Felix Ogbe, says the board is open to supporting more indigenous companies to operate at their maximum capacity.
For UTM, it's a big project, and we'll look forward to supporting this project to ensure that this project comes to fruitfulness. It's a welcoming idea to see a Nigerian driving this project, what's called full local content. And it's our responsibility as a board to see that this project is accomplished.
The NCDMB is empowered to supervise, coordinate, administer, and monitor the implementation and development of Nigerian content in the oil and gas sector. To this end, the board believes the more local players there are in the industry, the better for the nation.
And in other stories, Access Holdings PLC has announced the return of Mr. Aigboje Aigimokode as its non-executive chairman. Mr. Aigimokode replaces Mr. Bubakar Jimoh, the erstwhile chairman of the holding company, who remains on the board as an independent non-executive director. Access Bank, in a statement, says the visionary and accomplished leader is bringing an outstanding record of accomplishments, wealth of expertise, and leadership to guide the group into a new era of success. According to a statement, in response to the untimely death of the immediate past Group Chief Executive Officer of Access Holdings, Dr. Herbert Wiwe, and following extensive consultations with key stakeholders, the holding company board unanimously decided to invite Mr. Aigimokode to the helm of governance. Let's delve into the world of business now. Will Ibong is here.
Banking, so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thank you, Anne, and welcome to Business News. We go to the southern part of Nigeria, where in Akwa Ibom State, Governor Umoena has called on small and medium-scale businesses in the state to take advantage of the services provided by Paralex Bank branch in Uyo, the state capital, to grow their businesses. Governor Umoena says the development is in line with his administration's policy to grow SMEs as contained in the Arise agenda of his administration. He was speaking at the official launch of the Paralex Bank branch in Uyo, the state capital.
Having successfully converted from Paralex Microfinance Bank to a commercial bank duly licensed by the Central Bank of Nigeria, Paralex Bank Limited was incorporated as a limited liability company on the 22nd of May 2020 to carry out commercial banking services, a feat adjudged first of its kind in the Nigerian banking space. Chairman of the bank, Dr. Adiola Phillips, says the bank is professionally equipped to key into the government's efforts to develop small and medium-scale businesses in Akwa Ibom State in order to grow the local economy.
With this kind of cooperation, reception, and collaboration, the future is limitless for Paralex Bank in Akwa Ibom. This is the first of many branches that will come here. We're going to have more branches. We're here to stay, and we're here to expand and work together with the citizens for the good of the state, for the good of the citizens, and to bring Paralex value to them. So we're expecting great working together, great partnerships that will create value for all of us.
The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the bank, Olufemi Bakri, assures that they offer innovative, customer-centric and technologically driven services with a commitment to ensuring customer satisfaction.
Every aspect of our businesses, could it be SME, retail, commercial, corporate, digital, institutional banking, private banking, public sector and the rest, we are well positioned digitally to drive those areas. In the country today, our app is one of the seamless and the cheapest. You can give us a trial.
For Governor Umoena, the entry of Paralex Bank into the scene is an opportunity for small and medium-scale enterprises to grow their businesses.
We expect that from this one, you open another one, you open another one, and because I can tell you that our youths, our teeming youths, our small, medium enterprises are looking for banks that will partner with them. In the name of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
With the launch of the Uyo branch, the bank now has 12 branches spread across 7 states, including Lagos, Oyo, Rivers, Delta, Edo, Cross River states, and the Federal Capital Territory.
Now, Nigeria's crude oil production takes a hit as it drops to 1.32 million barrels per day in February, and that's according to OPEC's latest monthly oil market report. Now, this significant dip from the previous month's output of 1.42 million barrels per day marks a loss of 104,000 barrels per day lost to the country. Now, it's still winning week for the equities market as investors buy interest in stocks, pushes the all-share index to cross 104,000. Laddie Williams tells us more.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Well, as I said at the start of the month, March is looking really good for the local bourse. If you look at the numbers now, we're back again at 104,000 level for the all-share index, 0.47% up, market cap 58 trillion at this time. Let's look at the sectoral performance now. We see the banking counter contributing to the big gains that we see in the market now, 1.95%. Just like the banking counter took down the all-share index below that 100 create level when we saw sell-off with banking stocks, but we're seeing buy interest now with the banking stocks. Consumer goods 0.22%, and we see the oil and gas counter remaining unchanged. Well, the midweek trading session saw big buy interest from investors. A key data is expected this week, inflation report for February. Fingers crossed on what the MPC does next to tame inflation. But let's look at the market mover today, and it's Transco Power. They're closing at 380 naira per share, and we also had those tier 1 banks and tier 2 banks and consumer goods counter adding to the gains that we see in the market today. That's how your money performed. I'm Laddie Williams.
Thank you, Laddie. Let's watch out for the inflation data on Friday. Now let's see how other major equities around the world performed today. And that's a wrap on business news. Back to you, Anne, for the rest of the news at 10.
Banking, so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thank you, Will. Let's head to our London studio where Simon Pease is standing by with international news and around the world in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The UN says a new land route has been used to deliver food to northern Gaza for the first time in 3 weeks. The Israeli military said 6 lorries from the World Food Programme crossed via a gate in the Gaza border fence. It comes amid global pressure on Israel to allow more access to the Palestinian territory for aid amid a looming famine as it continues its war on Hamas. A boat carrying 200 tons of food aid for distribution by a charity also set sail from Cyprus on Tuesday, inaugurating a new maritime corridor into the Palestinian territory. It is expected to arrive on Thursday off Gaza's coast. Ukraine's security service was behind another wave of drone attacks on Russian oil refineries last night. Ukraine also struck and damaged a Russian security services building in the border region of Belgorod. The governor of the Voronezh region said more than 30 drones were destroyed in the air, with so-called minor infrastructural damage because of the resulting falling debris. Meanwhile, a longtime ally of the late Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny has been attacked outside his home in Lithuania. Leonid Volkov said his arm was broken and his leg hit 15 times with a hammer. He faces various politically motivated charges in Russia. Lithuanian intelligence said the attack was probably Russian-organized and implemented. Rishi Sunak has resisted calls during Prime Minister's questions to hand back £10 million donated to the Conservative Party by businessman Frank Hester.
Mr. Speaker.
Speaking in the House of Commons, the Prime Minister condemned the reported remarks by Hester about MP Diane Abbott as racist and wrong, but insisted he had shown remorse. Labour has called on the Conservatives to give the money back, and Sir Keir Starmer pressed the PM on the issue at PMQs.
Is the Prime Minister proud to be bankrolled by someone using racist and misogynist language when he says the member for Hackney North and Stoke Newington makes you want to hate all black women?
Mr. Speaker, the alleged comments were wrong, they were racist, and he has now, as I said, the comments were wrong, they were racist. He has rightly apologised for them, and that remorse should be accepted, Mr. Speaker. There is no place for racism in Britain, and the government that I lead is living proof of that.
Mr. Speaker, the man bankrolling the Prime Minister also said that the member for Hackney North should be shot. How low would he have to sink? What racist, woman-hating threat of violence would he have to make before the Prime Minister plucked up the courage to hand back the £10 million that he's taken from him?
China has warned that a proposed ban on TikTok would come back to bite the US ahead of a congressional vote that could lead to the app being banned. The bill in the House of Representatives would force the Chinese-owned app to sever ties with China or become unavailable in the US. US officials have long expressed concern about TikTok, citing potential national security risks. TikTok's owners have repeatedly rejected that it poses any threat. Space One's Kairos rocket has burst into flames shortly after liftoff in western Japan on Wednesday. The explosion left a large plume of smoke in the air and sent fiery debris flying near the launch pad. The Tokyo startup was racing to become Japan's first private company to put a satellite into orbit. And around 2,000 white rhinos will be prepared for life in the wild under a scheme by a South African NGO that could boost the world's wild southern white rhino population by 15%. The rhinos were bought from a private breeder. The aim is to rewild around 200 rhinos a year for the next 10 years across Africa.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime de-risking effort from a conservation initiative at scale that's never happened before. So I think for the species, it's a massive opportunity.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. Team Nigeria have won a bronze medal in cricket as the sports made its debut at the African Games, beating Uganda by 3 wickets. The female Yellow Greens ranked at the lowest in the tournament, opted to bowl first, restricting Victoria Pearls to a modest total of 76 runs for the loss of 8 wickets in 20 overs. The Confederation of African Football has granted Nigeria Football Federation request to move the Olympic final qualifying fixture, the first leg encounter between Nigeria and South Africa, by 1 hour. The game, initially scheduled to start at 4 p.m. on Friday, April 5th, will now kick off by 5 p.m. That's it on sports. It's back to you, Anne.
Thank you, Chris. And the main news again. The federal government today said no ransom payment for kidnapping as President Bola Tinubu directed security agencies to rescue all abducted persons in Kaduna.